Hello everyone, my name is Shany Dror. I'm a PhD candidate at the Department of Ethology, and my PhD is focused on things that are related to language and the ability of dogs to understand, to learn these concepts. As you might have heard, we're specifically looking into the ability of dogs to learn object names, which are mostly names of dog toys. And we found that actually these dogs are very rare. So only very few dogs are able to learn the names of objects. And in this specific experiment, we wanted to see how fast they are able to learn names of objects, and are they able to remember these names of objects for a long period of time. So we had two aims. First of all, the scientific aim of asking, are the dogs able to learn objects very rapidly, new names, and can they remember? But also we had a strategic aim, because these dogs are very rare. And in science, we want to have a large sample size. We want to do our experiment on a lot of animals, not only with one, okay? But this is very difficult, and we have so few dogs that know the names of toys. So our aim here was to cause a lot of media attention and help us through this to find more dogs. And this is why we broadcasted our tests on the Genius Dog Challenge YouTube channel. So if you're interested in seeing the tests themselves, you can go ahead and look at that. So what did we ask? What do we already know actually? We know that dogs that are gifted in their ability to learn object names are able to learn these object names very, very fast. They can even do it after hearing the name of an object only 4 times. However, we also know that in that experiment, when they heard the name of the object only 4 times, their memory decayed really fast, and they didn't remember the names of the toys for long. We also know that if we teach a dog a lot of new actions in a short time, the dog will not remember these for long. And this is maybe very similar to what you might have experienced if you're a student or you were preparing for an exam and you had to study a lot of things in a very short period of time. It's very hard to remember them. So we were wondering, maybe our dogs can do it. And our first hypothesis here was that yes, they are probably able to rapidly learn the names of new objects, because we know that they have done it in other experiments. And we also know that infants are able to remember for a long period of time. So maybe there is some sense that dogs will also be able to remember. So our subjects were 6 dogs that already proved that they knew the names of objects. And all of them knew over 20 names of dog toys. And in the first experiment, we gave them 1 week to learn the names of 6 new toys. And in the second experiment, we gave them 1 week to learn the names of 12 new toys. So how did they learn? Well, the owners would play with them and have like these short playful interactions, which were about 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon. And the owner would show the dog the toy and play with it, as you can see here. So these are Gaia and Isabella. And Isabella is saying the name of the toy and letting Gaia play with it and bring it. And then we needed to test the dogs. Now, dogs are very, very good at picking up on owner cues, and they can read very subtle body language. So even if we don't intentionally help our dogs, we might be doing this. So for this, what we wanted to do, because we wanted to make sure that the dogs are actually, they know the name of the toy and they're not just reacting to their owner's subtle cues, we put the toys in one room and we asked the owner to sit in a different room. So we can see here Helga sitting in one room and asking Whiskey to get the toys, and the toys are in a different room.
Whiskey, pin, tempo, in tempo.
Super.
Yeah, super.
So after the first experiment, after the second experiment, we gave the dogs another week to play a bit more with the toys. And then we asked the owners to put all the toys in a box, close the box, put the box somewhere that the dogs cannot reach. Okay, so the dogs no longer have the option of playing with these toys and rehearsing the knowledge. Then we took out the toys back. After 1 month, we took out 6 of the toys, and we tested the dog again using the same protocol. And then after 2 months, we had still 6 toys remaining. We took them out and we repeated the test. And what we can see here is, first of all, in the first experiment, in the first and the second experiment where we asked the dogs to learn the names of new toys very fast, they were very good at it. And also, you can see here the percentage of their correct responses, that they were also able to learn the names of the, to remember, the names of the toys in a higher than chance ratio. So when we look more into the individual results of the dogs, we see that all 6 dogs, that 4 out of the dogs were able to learn the names of all the toys in the first experiment. Most of them were able to learn the names of up to 11 toys in the second experiment, and then most of them were able to remember the names of all the toys of the toys after 1 month, and also a few of them were able to remember the names of all the toys after 2 months. So as we saw, dogs can learn 6 and even 12 new toys in a very short period of time. And this learning ratio, which is basically almost learning 2 new names of an object in 1 day, is actually similar to what has been documented in infants, that they're about 18 months old and they suddenly start to learn a lot of words at once and speak, and suddenly are exposed, and they have this vocabulary burst of suddenly understanding a lot of language. So actually, dogs, of course, they don't understand language as we know it, but they are able to learn the names of objects very rapidly. And although this learning rate was already documented in dogs, because there was one study that showed that a dog was able to learn a lot of toys, the difference is that in that study, the dog was trained by professionals up to 5 or 6 hours a day, whilst our dogs were working with their owners at home and doing it with not so much intensive training and more like natural play interactions. So these learning occasions of these social interactions with the dogs are actually very similar to what an adult might have with an infant. And as we already said, the dogs were able to learn the names for up to 2 months. So this experiment leaves a few open questions. Is the way that dogs learn object names, is it similar to the way infants do? Probably not. We have evidence that not. So what's the mechanism? How are they learning? And how do they understand these objects? Do they understand them referentially? Is the learning method associative? So there is still a lot of research to be done here. And I invite you to follow us on our social media and of the Genius Dog Challenge and the Family Dog Project. And if you subscribe, you'll see the new research that we have coming up. Thank you very much for listening.